Hello and welcome, and thanks so much for watching our two-part series on how to be successful with your premium membership. My name is Evan. I've been a senior account manager with Voices for a few years now, helping voice talent book more work on the platform. And I'm excited to show you this two-part series on, the first part, setting up the profile, setting up the ideal portfolio, and the way we write up our bio and all that good stuff. And then the second part, getting into how to really audition. Give clients what they want, book lots of work through the platform. So stay with me. We're going to cover a lot of information. I think you'll find it really, really interesting. I hope, anyway. So here we start on the homepage, and this is a bit of a dashboard, bit of an overview on everything we have going on. We've got our open jobs here. We've got some feedback on how we're doing, and a checklist on the profile. So if there's anything missing, we've got a bit of a checklist, and it's good to pay attention to that in case you still have some things to upload, right? And I also want to point out, if at the end of watching this, you do have any other questions, feel free to reach out to support@voices.com. We have a phenomenal support team here at Voices, and I hope you're taking advantage of that. And we have a really great help section. So, a very rich, content-rich blog, our resource library, other webinars that you can register for. And then at the footer here, we've got other resources like our coaching section here, our rate guide, other resources, podcasts, another link to the blog, and the voices.com community. All right, so as mentioned, this part one is focused on the profile and optimizing that for getting hired later on. So let's go to editing the profile. And a little bit about our profile picture. So a lot of voiceover talent sort of maybe underestimate the value of a profile picture. And, we're focused on the voice, we're focused on audio. So some folks might think that you don't need a good profile picture, but we've actually found that having a professional headshot is very important, and clients do care about the picture you put up on the profile. So you want it to be something that's specifically sourced for voiceover, and clients can always tell if that's the case. If you've just taken a picture from your Facebook or your LinkedIn, then that's how it will read on the profile. So you want something that specifically it speaks voiceover, right, to the client. And you can use a cartoon or a logo or something else that's kind of fun or still related to voiceover. It doesn't necessarily have to be a picture of your face, but we have found through the data that clients are simply most drawn to the human face. So that's a bit of a recommendation for you on profile picture. And if you don't upload anything, then the profile actually just looks empty. So just make sure you at least have something uploaded, and then it's a good investment to make. So we've got the personal info section here. This is the name that will appear to clients, and you can change this at any time. You can use a pseudonym. Some people have a stage name, and that's absolutely fine. And then this is the overview section. After all this, we'll look at the profile and how it looks from the outside, but this is the inner workings of the profile. So this is where you need to start selling yourself to clients, right? If you need some inspiration, take a look at other profiles on the platform. You can always use the search bar up here to look through other profiles, but it's definitely very important to have a catchy paragraph or two that is going to either describe your voice, maybe bragging about past clients, your client list, anything really that is going to really hook and land clients to say, you know what, yes, I do want to hire this person. All right. So for the profile link, this is going to be the link to your profile. You can change that once, and if you want to change the URL of your profile again, that's where you'll contact support to make that happen. And here we have our displayed address. So the displayed address is the public address that clients can see. It's not a specific address. There is a different mailing address in the profile that is just for internal voices.com purposes, and clients are not seeing that information. But this shows clients, generally where you are, and if you're in a major hub for voiceover, that's great. You definitely want to put that. If you are not in a major hub but you're close to one, and actually where we are in London, Ontario is a good example. I would probably put Toronto Ontario, because London is about a 2-hour drive from Toronto. And as a voiceover talent, I would be willing to drive to that location in person to audition. So sometimes clients are looking for a specific location for whatever reason. And so keep that in mind when putting in your public displayed address. Now, as you know, voices.com does now have other services that you can offer. So we have audio production, we've got music and translation. So the focus of today is, we're going through voiceover as the example. But within audio production, if you have any other of these skills, please do add them as a skill so clients can find you there. So a comprehensive list there. And within music, we've got jingles, music composition, and for singers. And then, of course, translation, directly adjacent to voiceover. And this is where you simply pick your source language and then your target language. So the target language is, for translators, the target language is the one that you're most fluent in. So some folks, are, 100% fluent in one language, and then they're 95% fluent in a different language. So perhaps they can translate back and forth, but for most of the time, the target language is the one that you're most fluent in, and then the source language is the one that, if you're 100% fluent, that's great. But sometimes that might be, 80, 90% fluency, and you can still translate to that target language, which is important. So you can choose as many as you'd like. Get ready with a portfolio sample similar to the voiceover portfolio when you're creating these new services on your profile. All right, that being said, we'll dive into the voiceover profile itself. And we've got a bit of a checklist up here on things that are maybe missing on the profile. And as you'll start to see, if you happen to leave a section blank, the Voices profile does not actually publish a blank section. We're not going to publish blank sections and kind of make it look empty. If you choose to leave out a section, that's totally fine. We actually will leave that off the profile, and it still looks like a whole professional page. So the service description is similar to the overview. It's a place where you're going to want to describe that specific skill. So maybe you have multiple skills. Maybe you do audio and voiceover, and you're going to describe both of those in your overview. But then this is specifically going to describe the voiceover skill, if that makes sense. So same principle, describe your voice, brag about past clients. This is not the place to be modest. It's not the place to, give any disclaimers about maybe if you're newer in the business, not the place to do that. So you definitely want to put your best foot forward, and again, look to other profiles if you have any questions or are looking for some inspiration. All right, so as you can see, the information we've got here under skills, this is what's starting to allow our job match algorithm to actually line you up with jobs. So one thing just to keep in mind is try not to delete too many of these categories, especially in the beginning. It's good to have your options open. If you happen to delete one of these categories, Job Match will actually think that you don't want to receive any jobs in that category. So some categories are pretty big. Online ad, TV ad, we've got radio, it's another big one. So some of these smaller categories, like maybe podcasting is on the smaller side. If you happen to delete that because you're not interested in that, that's fine. You won't receive any of that job. But just keep that in mind on this section. If you delete anything, we won't send it to you. But if you do add it, then Job Match will know you're interested and you'll get those castings. So think of those as sort of hard filters. And the same goes for vocal characteristics. Again, it's very important for Job Match to know exactly what to send your way. And this is important for the suitability of roles that you're submitting to, right? So if you're on the fence about a certain category, then just keep monitoring it and maybe add something up front and then delete it later. For example, maybe for myself, I might actually take away the middle-aged if I'm not sure about my booking potential in that category. I might just stick with young adult. And then if I want to see a bit more variety for the voice ages I'm seeing, maybe I would add middle-aged later on. But the key is authenticity. Another example for myself, I might not add senior, even though I could try to do a senior character voice. But because that's not my authentic voice, I'm not going to add that, because clients are really looking for authenticity when it comes to, these big picture filters, right? They're looking for a true senior voice or a true young adult voice. And child is an interesting one because there are many adult voice actors that can do a child character voice, and you can feel free to add that if that's something that's in your skill set, basically. All right, and for languages, you'll notice that some languages have subcategories. And so it's just important to, whatever language you speak, if you speak, especially if you speak English or Chinese or French, some of these have subcategories. So it's important to add all of those subcategories that could apply to you. All right. And this English category we have here with no subcategory after it, that is a bit of a catch-all category. And clients will post a job in this plain English category if they're seeking different accents or an accent that's not covered in a subcategory. All right, same goes for accents. And again, I'll reiterate the authenticity and the importance of that, right? So just because I can, put on a character to, my friends and family or just for fun, that doesn't necessarily mean I can authentically perform that accent. And so this is not so much for different characters or caricatures that can be performed. This is more so for accents that are true and authentic to you. And what you want to be thinking of is the audience for these jobs. That's going to be clients in that particular region, right? So just be careful when selecting accents, as you never want to offend a client or something like that. And if you're still working on a certain dialect or accent, it's good to wait until it's 95% accurate in order to put in your accents section here. All right, moving down here, we've got the studio section, and this is very important. Clients are always going to new talents profiles just to make sure that their studio specs are up to par. So this is a great turnaround time to use, 24 to 48 hours. Nothing wrong with that turnaround time. And that time would be, if you're hired for a job, when could the client expect those first files from you? And in this case, we put 24 to 48 hours. That's completely reasonable. And there are a lot of talent that are really fast at what they do. They might be able to provide a 6-hour turnaround or maybe a 12-hour turnaround. And then filling in all the information that's accurate for your studio. Clients do want to know these details. They want to know the make and model of your microphone. That's very important. Computer and software and any other special equipment, which is a little bit more optional. Not everybody has additional gear in their studio, but that could be your audio interface perhaps. And then again, computer and software would be your computer and your DAW. All right, so for these two sections, we've got, again, work experience and then testimonials. And these are optional, just like every section on the profile. If you have previous clients that you'd like to add, that's great. Feel free to do that. If you have work experience that you'd like to put on your profile, that's a great idea. The more information, the better. Clients can get a more three-dimensional picture of who they're about to hire. So anything helps, even if it's not necessarily directly related to voiceover. It can still be something that informs your read. It can still be something that is part of your background and who you are, what you bring to the table. So all that is good stuff. That's why we have a lot of options here. And then if you have any testimonials from previous clients, that's great too. We definitely want you to add those. Got some fields to write the testimonial itself and then the company name. All right. So that's the overview tab. This brings us to the demos tab. Okay, so as you can see, we have 4 different demos here, and we'll go into the inner workings of one of these demos. We have to choose one skill to assign this demo to. And then we've got some more opportunities for some search-friendly terms in both the title and the description. So the description of this demo is a little bit lackluster. That's okay. But if I were really working on this demo, I would want to put a pretty rich description with a lot of searchable terms, a lot of search-friendly terms, just so that when people search different terms in the search bar, then my demo will show up. So you definitely want to max out that 300 character limit. And then to upload, basically choose the demo that you've already recorded and then upload it to the demo page when you're creating it. And it's important to max out this section. So for tags, these also go toward generating those job match scores. And the better your job match score, the more visible you are to clients. The default sorting for jobs, when a client's looking through their auditions, is sorting by job match, right? So the more tags you have on more demos, the more complete your profile, the more data, the more information you're feeding to the job match algorithm, and the more chances you have of appearing high in the list. So you want to max out the accents if possible, if applicable. Maxing out the styles, you can choose up to 10 from this list. And then for roles, you can choose up to 5 from this list. And then voice age is an optional field, but you definitely don't want to miss that. Choose the voice age in order to, again, give job match some more data. And this profile has has 4 demos. And what we find is that top talent on the platform are always increasing their portfolio. It might even be DIY demos that you've recorded on your own, and that's totally fine. What you want is, again, lots of data to feed the job match algorithm. We've seen profiles with upwards of 50 demos. So what we often say is, try to always be reinventing and uploading new portfolio samples. Once you reach maybe 20 samples or something, then it's not so urgent. But again, it depends how many services and languages, accents, voice ages that you offer. So everything that you want to offer, you want to back up with a demo sample. And then, probably every year or something, you're at least uploading new material, again, just to make it a really data-rich portfolio. So this brings us to the next tab, which is statistics. And this is not so much a tab that clients are spending a lot of time on. This is really for your own information, informing your own strategy. It shows you your demo listens, the amount of favorites your demos are getting, the amount of listens you're getting, which is also important, the amount of invitations that you're receiving, how many you've submitted. Basically speaks for itself. And this is how you can track your progress. How many auditions have you submitted? Maybe you want to calculate your shortlist ratio. Maybe you want to calculate your booking ratio. So this is how you can basically see where you're at and then make any adjustments if needed. But again, it's not something that clients are too worked up about. Clients aren't visiting this page too much. Sometimes we get questions from voice talent, maybe concerned a little bit about a certain number on here and the perception of clients visiting this page. But what we find is that clients are more concerned with receiving your auditions, and maybe they'll look at the profile as well. Statistics they're not so much a concern toward clients. All right, and then of course you've got your audition history that you can kind of track all those, and then your voiceover demo history. And we can see the 4 demos here that we have uploaded on this profile. All right, so now that we've gone through how to fill out all these sections, let's go see how it all looks from an outsider's perspective. All right, so we can see the demos that we've already posted. It's a listen first experience for the clients. So it just shows you the importance of having a robust portfolio so the clients can have a great listening experience. They see the name, they see the picture, and then they're listening right away, and they have, a good paragraph if they like to read. That can really convince them to, again, hire you for that project or even invite you privately to a project. We can see all the settings that we filled out already, and we see the testimonials. We can see the reviews. And then there were a few sections that we actually didn't put in information. And as you can see, those have just been left out of the picture. So we're not publishing blank sections. It still looks very complete and professional. All right, so next we're going to go and take a look through the account settings. Okay, so for the account settings, we've got your email address. This is all internal information for voices.com. This isn't visible to the public, so you don't have to worry about that. Your email address and phone number, your mailing address, which is, again, different from the public address that we saw earlier. We've got the opportunity to put in your vacation status if you need to let clients know that you're going to be away. So you can fill in your vacation status if you'd like. And then it's important to also select your time zone. And part 2 of the webinar will go into more of the actual jobs and submitting auditions and the deadlines and that type of thing. But this ensures that you're seeing everything accurately, and then it's accounting for any time differences. So you can go automatic or manual and set the correct time zone. And for email settings, I definitely recommend staying updated on our newsletters, our news events, any promotions, and notifications related to jobs that you were working on. And then depending on how many emails you want to receive, some people like to receive an email about every job that's posted. Some people want to put in a price threshold, so they're only seeing emails when it's above a certain amount. And that's entirely up to you, depending on your workflow. And then here is a pretty cool single sign-on you can do through Google or Apple. And taking a look at SurePay settings. So this is how we pay you. And we made it so easy through our SurePay system, which, part 2, we go over that as well. But essentially all we need from you is your PayPal email address. And that's how we know where to send funds. And we've made it very, very straightforward. It's a reason why so many people love using Voices, is how easy we make it to get paid for the jobs you work. So as long as you've got a PayPal email address, you put it in there, we know where to send the funds. All right, we've got our membership status, we've got some billing history, change password, some pretty straightforward stuff. All right, so that covers the profile, and now I want to get into our project marketplace. So we haven't created any projects yet on this profile, but just to see what they look like for folks that have already filled them out. Now, this is a client's chance to simply hire a talent directly without having to post a job and receive auditions. And that 2-step process, that works for a lot of jobs. But if the client prefers to browse and buy and sort of a single commitment type of purchase, they can go through, they can do a search, they can browse, and they can hire you through Project Marketplace. So we definitely recommend that for every skill that you offer, whether it's voiceover, audio, translation, music, that you're also creating projects for Project Marketplace. And it's a very easy process. So just giving a bit of an overview here, let's say we're creating a project for online ad. And I'll just go ahead and use one of these sample titles. All right, we're going to choose English today. For accent, we're going to go with North American. You know what? Canadian. Why not? And for voice age, we'll go with young adult. All right, let's choose our delivery day. Length of time there, we'll choose, let's say 2 revisions. And again, this is completely customizable. This is completely up to you. The usage, there's control over that as well. And that is determined by, because we chose online ad, then usage is involved. Let's keep it at 13 weeks. And then you choose your budget. And again, if you're not sure on rates and all that type of stuff, we do have a very helpful rate guide, both linked here and linked at the footer, where you can see what's an appropriate rate for whatever project or the usage. All right, do we want to add these add-ons? Let's just throw in some numbers here. Let's include a live directed session. Let's say we'll bill that for the hour. And I'm just showing you the wizard here on how to fill that out. And this gives your project summary. You can even add your own frequently asked questions. We've already pre-populated a bunch of those. All right, now just for the purposes of filling this out. So what I wanted to show is that we've made it very easy to attach the sample, and it can be a demo that you've already uploaded. So if we just pick, it's already suggested. It's the education demo that we already submitted, and it was in online ad category. So that makes it super easy. Requirements form. All right, so we're not actually going to submit this, but we get a preview of our project that clients can easily hire us for. You can preview that and then submit it. So it really just takes a couple clicks. Maybe you want to have some copy ready to describe it, and then you're essentially off to the races. You can submit as many as you'd like, and we'll get back to you, once you've submitted for review to let you know, it's live, it's good to go. All right, well, thank you so much for taking the time to go through all the sections of the profile, making sure everything is optimized so that we can get more into part 2, which is getting into the jobs and submitting auditions. So if you have any other questions, like I mentioned in the beginning, please do reach out and email support@voices.com. Again, my name is Evan, and thank you so much for hopping in today and taking some time. All right, we'll see you on the next one.